I am Michael Morbius, and I hear you don't like my new movie. So the verdict is out, folks. Morbius, starring Jared Leto, he of the bad Italiano accent in the House of Gucci, has been released. And the reception has been, well, shall we say, congealed like blood. The very life force that Morbius needs to survive on. Now, before I get into the Rotten Tomatoes scores, I will say this much about Sony right now. They are going in the same direction as DC are. In other words, they are fast-tracking ideas before we see an initial concept. So DC Shiyu, you knew how they didn't make Superman 2 or Man of Steel 2 and just jump straight into Batman versus Superman. And how did that turn out? Exactly. And the same it goes really for Morbius. Like, we know who the guy is. If you're a Spidey fan, you know who Morbi is, but we never heard anything about him. Now, I think in the Sam Raimi era of Spider-Man, they probably could have brought they could have brought in Lance Henriksen to play the role, because if you've seen Lance in Near Dark, directed by Catherine Bigelow, you can see he's got the potential, or would have had the potential back then, to be a great and terrifying Morbius. But instead, we got the second-rate feature called Jared Leto. So now these ratings, or the tomato scores, are very strange, because you can see out of 182 reviews, they've given this film 17%. Remember when I did my initial reaction to the 355, when that was at 17% as well? This could tie in second place with the 355 as being two of the worst films of 2022, ladies and gentlemen. But the audience score is also a little bit weird to me. So if we just jump into these reviews right here for the 17%, which is going to be pretty funny to read. So James Hanton of the Outtake Mag: between the lack of atmosphere, undeveloped characters, and questionable visuals, Morbius just doesn't know how to hold its audience's attention. I'm doing a Bela Lugosi voice here because it's kind of apt. Jared Leto trades in his own clown shoes for fangs, and of course, it's as silly and bad as you thought. However, it's never not entertaining, and Matt Smith understood the assignment. John Ombuk, occasionally it's not as ghastly as it might sound, mostly thanks to Leto's general gravitas and a supervillain, Matt Smith from The Crown, thoroughly enjoying his own personal discoveries. Another rotten review says it's a bit like a hastily and inexpertly assembled jigsaw puzzle. While the overall picture is obvious, the individual pieces don't fit into place, and after a while, you stop caring. This reminds me of that Morecambe and Wise sketch where he walks up to Andre Previn and says, or rather, Andre Previn walks up to him and says, "You're playing all the wrong notes." And Eric Morecambe says something like, "Well, they are playing the right notes, but they might be in the wrong order." So I'm kind of getting that feeling that this smorgasbord of a mess from Sony is what is going on at the moment. Eddie Harrison, despite aspirations to Cronenberg, why did these flipping idiotic so-called journos keep making up new names in the film sphere? It makes no sense. There's desperate aspirations to Cronenberg body horror, Morbius, and he can't even spell Morbius properly, spelt it with two S's. Unless he's being sarcastic there. Morbius. Bloody action amounts to a lengthy thin-off between Leto and Smith. Although Dracula has long represented the outsider, Morbius spends the whole film trying to be more normal. And that's from Noah Balaski. Look, the general consensus is just people are just not, they're not impressed with Morbius. I can't say I'm surprised, but let's look at the audience, because I think this was actually more stranger, actually. 67% on 1,000 verified reviews. I'm a bit skeptical about that. Chris EC, I've seen this person before. The digital effects were awesome. The movie was entertaining. And Jarod is do people know how to spell Jared Leto? It clearly says it's Jared. Jared Leto did a great job of portraying the good and evil conflict. Esme, it was an amazing movie. Okay. Sky H, it was really good, but I liked almost all Marvel, but I loved it. Hang on, it was really good, but I like almost all Marvel, but I loved it. Good, and they're verified. This is shocking. Jorin, it was good for the most part. Definitely, still can't spell, was too short. Needed to make it longer so we could see the changes of his character more. Okay, shit was dog shit. Should have let Juan direct it. Okay, Juan who? Is he talking Juan? Well, okay, I don't know who he's talking about. Best movie I've ever seen. Now, how can you go on that as being a certified critic, like a punchline to get you to go, like a tagline? That's not the kind of thing you want to see. Taglines exist on movie posters where you'd see that sort of thing. Wagner kind of expected the plot, but still I cool Marvel movie. Who the fuck are these people? Why are they allowed to be on the internet and write garbage? Michael C, not Michael C. Hall, another Marvel movie that is true to form, and it's giving it 5 stars. Jared Leto was surprisingly really good as Morbius, but the writing could have been better, and most of the action sequences were mediocre, which is what I've heard. Great movie all around. I'm just having a funny feeling looking at these so-called verified critics, is that they're actually critic bombing Rotten Tomatoes. Now, normally when a product comes out, like The Last of Us Part 2, big pile of shit, everybody was steam piling Rotten Tomatoes to the point where they just had to suddenly slam the brakes on. It was either Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, I think it was the latter. And with this, in the case of this, the movie is being perceived being so awful that it seems Rotten Tomatoes doesn't really care, because Morbius is not. It's not a big deal. It's not doing anything. I've heard the post-credit scenes are terrible. Like, you don't even see Michael Keaton's Vulture until the end credits. You don't even see him in the middle of the film. So why are they kind of dangling the carrot in front of us, making us think, oh, you got to come in, this is going to be so good? And why do we care? Peter Parker has never spoken about Morbius in the Spider-Man films. So all of a sudden he pops up and we're supposed to get really, really excited. It's so dumb. But this could be the decline, I think, in the future of not just the superhero movie, but Sony's flagship hero, Spider-Man. I had a very great phrase yesterday, which is, no matter how fantastic something is, it's always got an expiration date that includes me and you. So on that one, folks, if you enjoyed my quick video today on the very sorry plight, but I'm not really sorry for Sony, because Sony are a bunch of idiots. Amy Pascal is probably just taking more cocaine as I write this review. And yeah, I can't feel sorry for them. But if you enjoyed this one today, folks, leave a like below, slap that subscribe button like it's Jared Leto's face, and I will see you on my next video.
Like and subscribe, or get your nuts Krogan crushed with Jason King.